We are in part 10 of lesson 92, and we are talking about the perfect tense. That's what we're focusing on. But you need to understand your other tenses to be able to understand the perfect tense. Remember, the perfect tense are all of your verbs that have the suffix ed put with it. And then you have lots and lots of irregular verbs. Now your progressive verbs, they do not have irregulars. Only the perfect tense with the ed have irregulars when you put them in the past participle, the past tense. Now the word that we're focusing on today is a really tricky word. It gets most people confused, and we are talking about the simple tense of lie. And then we have the simple past tense. It's lay, and your past participle, which lands you in the perfect tense, is lain. This word is so confusing that people often try to use different words to help you understand it. So that's why lay or lie, which one are we going to do? And so that's why you have to know the definition of lay properly. And we went over the definition of lay when it's sitting in the simple tense. Because see how confusing it is? When it's in the simple past, that means it's a completely different definition. Right? It's a completely different definition when it's in the simple past. When it's sitting in the simple past, it is the simple past tense off of lie. So lie means remain, rest, means you're horizontal. If you think about that, if you have a hard time with horizontal, think of the horizon. It's horizontal, and it's a direction. It's this way. Okay, so what does lie mean, boys?
Remain,
rest, horizontal.
So, when you are going to use the word lay, meaning this, you need to use it in the simple past. If you're going to use it in the simple tense, you're going to be using this word incorrectly. Let's go ahead and break this apart, because you need to understand all of your tenses to be able to understand your perfect tense. And now we put you in the past tense, and I'm going to start with perfect, then simple, then progressive. So past tense, in the perfect, you have to use the auxiliary verb had. And then you have to use your past participle. That is what you use for the perfect tense. I had lain in bed. First person, singular. You had lain in bed. Third person, singular. Paul had lain in bed. See how right here, you guys, when it is past tense like here, you do not have to worry about the changing of the verb. It's the exact same thing in the perfect tense. You just need to make sure you're understanding what perfect tense is so that you are using the proper auxiliary verb. Now we're in the past tense. We're going to go into simple. And if we're in the past tense, what verb do we need to use?
lay.
The simple past of lay. I lay in bed, you lay in bed, Paul lay in bed. Now, since this isn't in our present tense, it's in our past, we're not changing this and putting an S on it. Progressive, I was lying in bed. Look what happened here. Do we just put our ing? This is a spelling word that you actually need to know how to spell. So oftentimes you just add the ing on, or you drop the E or something like that. But this one, you don't. You change this I and the IE to a Y, and then you add on your ing. This is how you spell lying. I was lying in bed, you were lying in bed, Paul was lying in bed. Now let's look at the present tense. I want you guys to get this down. This is the present tense. We're going to talk about the perfect. Now, what do we have to have in perfect? In the perfect present. You have to use the auxiliary verb have. See what we used in past? Had. But in present, we have to use have. We're in first person, singular. I have lain in bed. You have lain in bed. Paul has lain in bed. See how it changes with your third person from your first person. So simple present, I lie in bed. So look, simple present, simple tense. I lie in bed, you lie in bed. Paul lies in bed. Now this is an intransitive verb. Lie is an intransitive verb. Okay? Now lay can be transitive or intransitive. Lie is an intransitive verb. Now, in the present tense, the progressive, I am lying in bed. Singular takes the singular. This has to am, are, and is in the progressive tense. You need to use those auxiliary verbs with your ing. I am lying in bed, so am takes the singular verb for I. You are lying in bed. Singular takes the singular verb. And remember, are is plural, but in second person, it doesn't matter. Are is singular if you're wanting this to be singular. Paul is lying in bed. Paul takes the singular. Is your auxiliary verb. Singular takes the singular verb. In third person. See how it changes in the present tense. It's different in third person than it is in first person. Let's look at the future tense. We're going to go future perfect. Now you have to use, in the perfect tense, you have to use your past participle. If we're going to go perfect, no matter what, if you're imperfect and you want to be imperfect, you need to use lain. But you have to use the proper auxiliary verbs. And the proper auxiliary verbs for the future tense is will have lain. I will have lain in bed. You will have lain in bed. Paul will have lain in bed. Now, the future tense for simple, the simple future tense, you just add on the will. Look. Simple, simple tense, simple tense. So you're just using your auxiliary verb will. I will lie in bed. You will lie in bed. Paul will lie in bed. So see how in our future tense, these do not change. That's why it's not confusing like it is in the present tense. Now let's look at the progressive. In the progressive, you have to use the auxiliary verbs will be. There are some other ones, but these are the main ones I want you to learn right now. The progressive tense, I will be lying in bed, will be, and then your ing. For the future, progressive, you will be lying in bed, Paul will be lying in bed. Singular, in third person, see it doesn't change. Singular, doesn't change. First person singular, second person singular, third person singular. It's not changing in the future tense. Okay, so now remember, in your simple, you're using the word lie. In your progressive, you are going to use your helping verb plus the word lying. Look at the spelling. L-Y-I-N-G. Now look at perfect. You need to use the proper helping verb plus your perfect past participle of lain. And then if you want the simple past, this is how you use it. You use it as lay with there's not an auxiliary verb right there, right? No auxiliary verb. Now the simple past and the perfect are not the same in here. They're different. This is such a confusing topic that you actually need to study this lesson. You need to study about these words. It's so confusing. Bye everybody.
Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next lesson.